Something is happening inside MetLife Stadium right now, and Bruno Mars fans have every reason to pay attention. With just days remaining before the romantic tour officially returns to the United States, members of Bruno Mars' staff and touring team have already arrived at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as preparations for the next chapter of the tour begin to take shape. And this is not just another stop on the schedule. The arrival of the touring team signals that the massive production behind Bruno Mars' first full stadium headline tour is moving into its final preparation phase before the lights come on. The stage comes alive, and thousands of fans finally hear that opening note again on American soil. If you are a Bruno Mars fan, make sure you stay with us because there is a lot to unpack here. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next few days could reveal some of the most exciting details yet about Bruno Mars, the romantic tour, MetLife Stadium, and what fans can expect when the US leg officially begins. According to several Instagram stories shared earlier by members of the touring operation, Bruno Mars staff and team are already on location at MetLife Stadium. That detail immediately caught the attention of fans because the timing could hardly be more significant. Bruno Mars is scheduled to return to the United States for the romantic tour beginning Friday, August 21st, 2026, at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The official MetLife Stadium schedule confirms that Bruno will perform at the venue on August 21st, August 22nd, August 25th, and August 26th, giving New Jersey fans 4 opportunities to experience the tour. And that means the countdown is no longer theoretical. It is happening right now. The stage preparation period has arrived. The production machinery is moving. The crew is in position. And the atmosphere surrounding MetLife Stadium is beginning to change. For a stadium production as ambitious as the romantic tour, preparations cannot simply begin on the afternoon of the concert. A show of this scale requires an enormous amount of coordination involving stage production, lighting, video systems, audio equipment, instruments, dancers, wardrobe, transportation, security, hospitality, and countless technical details that most concertgoers never see. That is why the appearance of Bruno Mars' touring staff at MetLife Stadium is such an interesting development. The audience sees the finished show. The crew sees the process. And that process begins long before Bruno Mars walks onto the stage. Think about what happens behind the curtain. A stadium that normally hosts sports events and massive concerts has to be transformed into an entirely different environment. The playing field becomes part of the production footprint. Equipment has to be positioned. Cables and technical systems have to be tested. Lighting has to be programmed and focused. Audio has to be calibrated for an enormous outdoor audience. Video screens and visual elements have to be checked from different parts of the stadium. Then there are the performers. Every movement has to line up with the music. Every transition has to happen at precisely the right moment. Every camera cue, lighting change, sound effect, video sequence, and stage movement has to work together. And Bruno Mars is known for a performance style where timing is everything. This is what makes the arrival of the crew so fascinating. Fans are not simply waiting for a concert. They are watching the final pieces of a massive live production puzzle come together. And there is another reason why this particular moment feels different. The romantic tour has already traveled through a huge international journey. Bruno Mars began the tour in Las Vegas before taking the production across North America and later into Europe and the United Kingdom. The tour reached major stadiums and venues throughout the international run, eventually arriving at Wembley Stadium in London for the European and UK portion of the schedule. Now, after that enormous journey, the production is returning to the United States. And MetLife Stadium is where the next chapter begins. The official tour schedule lists 4 MetLife Stadium performances: August 21st, August 22nd, August 25th, and August 26th. After New Jersey, Bruno Mars is scheduled to continue to Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Foxborough, Indianapolis, Tampa, New Orleans, Miami, San Antonio, Colorado, Los Angeles, Santa Clara, and Vancouver. So this is not simply a 4-night engagement. MetLife Stadium represents the launch point for the next major stretch of the US tour. And that makes the first night especially important. Friday, August 21st, East Rutherford, MetLife Stadium, Bruno Mars. The Romantic Tour. The official venue information lists the first show for 7 p.m., while the announced lineup includes Bruno Mars alongside RAYE and Anderson Paak performing as DJ P.We. That lineup alone is enough to create anticipation. But the bigger question is what happens when the stadium doors are still closed and the audience has not yet arrived. Because this is where the real preparation begins. Imagine entering MetLife Stadium before the crowd. The seats are empty. The field is covered with production equipment. Technicians are moving from one position to another. The stage is being checked. The lighting systems are being tested. The giant screens are coming alive. The sound system is being pushed through its final tests. And somewhere inside this enormous operation, the team is preparing the exact environment where Bruno Mars will eventually perform. That is the unseen side of the Romantic Tour. And it is one of the reasons stadium concerts are so difficult to execute. A Bruno Mars concert is not simply about placing a microphone in front of a singer. It is a carefully engineered experience. Every second matters. Every transition matters. Every musical cue matters. Every visual detail matters. And when the artist is performing in a stadium with tens of thousands of people watching, there is almost no room for mistakes. This is also where fans should pay attention to the word rehearsal. When a touring team arrives early, rehearsals are not necessarily about Bruno simply singing through every song from beginning to end. Rehearsals can involve technical checks, band rehearsals, stage movement, lighting cues, camera positions, sound checks, production transitions, and synchronization between multiple departments. Sometimes the smallest technical detail can change the entire experience. A lighting cue that happens 1 second too late can affect a performance. A camera angle that does not line up can change what millions of people watching online eventually see. An audio delay can affect the timing between performers. A stage transition can require multiple technicians to work simultaneously. That is why a stadium concert can look effortless when you are sitting in the audience, even though hundreds of people may have spent days making that effortless appearance possible. And this is where the Instagram stories from Bruno Mars staff become especially interesting. They give fans a rare glimpse into the machinery behind the spectacle. Not necessarily the full show, not necessarily a confirmation of every detail, but enough to show that the operation is already moving. And once fans see that movement, one question immediately appears. What exactly are they preparing? Is the production simply being installed? Are rehearsals already underway? Will Bruno Mars introduce any changes when the US leg returns? Could there be different visual moments? Could there be changes to the set list? Could there be new surprises? At this point, fans should separate confirmed information from speculation. The confirmed part is straightforward. Bruno Mars is returning to MetLife Stadium on August 21st, with additional shows on August 22nd, August 25th, and August 26th. The official tour and venue listings confirm the dates, and the announced supporting lineup includes RAYE and DJ P.We. The staff activity at the venue, based on the Instagram stories referenced by fans, adds another layer to the story, but it does not automatically confirm a new set list, a surprise guest, or a completely redesigned show. And that distinction is important, because the excitement surrounding Bruno Mars can move extremely quickly online. One backstage photo can create thousands of theories. One unidentified piece of equipment can lead fans to speculate about a surprise. One staff member posting from a stadium can instantly make fans feel like something huge is about to happen. And sometimes the biggest reveal is simply the fact that the show is getting closer. But there is still something incredibly exciting about watching that process unfold. Because the Romantic Tour is not a small production. MetLife Stadium itself describes the 2026 tour as Bruno Mars' first full headlining stadium tour and notes that the tour spans nearly 40 shows across North America, Europe, and the United Kingdom. That context changes everything. This is Bruno Mars stepping into a scale that requires stadium-level logistics. And MetLife Stadium is one of the biggest stages on that journey. So when his team begins setting up, it is more than just another workday. It is the beginning of the transformation. The empty stadium becomes a concert venue. The field becomes a stage environment. The technical equipment becomes part of the performance. The rehearsals become the bridge between preparation and showtime. And eventually, the empty seats will disappear beneath a sea of Bruno Mars fans. That moment is getting closer, very close. And here is where the story gets even more interesting. The first US show is not happening months from now. It is happening on August 21st. Today is August 19th. That means the countdown has reached its final stage. Only 2 days remain before Bruno Mars is scheduled to step back onto the stage at MetLife Stadium. 2 days. And the production team is already there. That is why fans are watching these backstage updates so closely. The next Instagram story could reveal another piece of the puzzle. A stage component, a lighting test, a sound check, a rehearsal environment, a glimpse of the band, production truck, a dressing room setup, or perhaps something completely unexpected. And this is exactly where the suspense of a major tour return comes from. The audience knows the date. The audience knows the venue. The audience knows the supporting lineup. But the audience does not know every detail of what will happen once the lights go down. That uncertainty creates anticipation. And Bruno Mars has built his career around live performance. His concerts are not simply about reproducing studio recordings. They are about energy, timing, band chemistry, dance, showmanship, audience interaction, and the feeling that something could happen in the room that cannot be recreated exactly anywhere else. That is what fans are waiting for, not simply another performance, a live Bruno Mars moment. And MetLife Stadium is about to become the setting for one of those moments. Zoom in on the timeline. August 19th. The touring operation is already appearing at the stadium. August 20th. Preparation continues. August 21st. Doors open, fans enter, and the US leg officially comes alive again. August 22nd. Another show follows. Then August 25th and August 26th. For nights at one of the most recognizable stadiums in the New York metropolitan area. For opportunities for Bruno Mars to restart the American chapter of the romantic tour. And then the tour moves forward. This is why the MetLife Stadium dates matter beyond New Jersey. They are the opening chapter of the next US stretch. After MetLife, Bruno Mars heads to Pittsburgh on August 29th. The schedule then continues to Philadelphia on September 1st and 2nd, followed by Gillette Stadium in Foxborough on September 5th and 6th. The road keeps moving, but every long tour has moments that feel like turning points. And MetLife is clearly one of them, because after weeks of international performances, the production is returning to American stadiums. The audience changes, the atmosphere changes, the travel rhythm changes, and potentially the energy changes too. Bruno Mars is coming home to the US stage with a show that has already traveled thousands of miles. That means the team arrives with experience from the previous legs. They know the production. They know the challenges. They know what works. They know what needs attention. And that accumulated experience can make the return even more interesting. The crew is not starting from zero. They are bringing an entire history of performances with them. Every adjustment made during previous shows can influence the next performance. Every technical lesson can improve the next setup. Every transition can become more refined. Every performance can become more confident. And when Bruno finally walks onto that MetLife Stadium stage, fans will not necessarily see the days of preparation that made the moment possible. They will simply see the finished product. The lights, the music, the crowd, the band, the dancers, the stage, and Bruno Mars. But behind that moment is an entire production team working almost invisibly. That is the real story behind the Instagram updates. The concert has not started yet, but the concert has already begun in another sense. It has begun backstage. It has begun in the production offices. It has begun with equipment arriving. It has begun with technicians checking systems. It has begun with rehearsals. It has begun with the team turning an empty stadium into the world of the romantic tour. And that transformation is something fans rarely get to witness. Now, there is one final question. What will happen when the preparation is complete? Will the opening night feel different after the international leg? Will Bruno bring renewed energy to the US shows? Will fans notice subtle changes in the performance? Will RAYE and DJP set the tone before Bruno takes the stage? And will the first night at MetLife produce a moment that fans will be talking about for weeks? We do not know yet. And that is exactly why these final days are so exciting. The facts are already strong enough. The official MetLife Stadium schedule confirms 4 Bruno Mars shows. The official Bruno Mars tour page confirms the return to East Rutherford. Ticket listings confirm RAYE and DJP for the opening MetLife dates. And behind the scenes, the touring operation is already visibly preparing for the arrival of thousands upon thousands of fans. So now the countdown is real. The stage is getting ready. The team is getting ready. The stadium is getting ready. And Bruno Mars is getting ready to bring the romantic tour back to the United States. In just 2 days, the silence inside MetLife Stadium will be replaced by screaming fans. The empty seats will become a massive audience. The rehearsal lights will become the concert lights. The technical checks will become the real show. And the preparation that fans are watching today will finally lead to the moment everyone has been waiting for. Bruno Mars on stage. MetLife Stadium. The romantic tour. The US leg is about to begin again. And if these early backstage updates are any indication, the countdown has officially entered its most exciting phase. August 21st is coming. East Rutherford is waiting. The crew is already there. The stadium is preparing. And now all eyes are on Bruno Mars. Because when the lights finally go down, the work happening behind the scenes will disappear. The music will start. The crowd will erupt. And the next chapter of the romantic tour will officially be underway. So if you are following Bruno Mars' 2026 tour, the romantic tour, the MetLife Stadium shows, RAYE, DJP, and every update leading into the US leg, make sure you stay connected. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and let us know in the comments what you think Bruno Mars might have planned for the first MetLife Stadium show. Because the countdown is no longer about weeks. It is no longer about months. It is down to days. And Bruno Mars is almost back on the US stage. But there is another side to this story that makes the final hours before a stadium concert so fascinating. While fans are watching the clock, the touring crew is watching something completely different. They are watching the stage. They are watching the equipment. They are watching the sound levels. They are watching the lighting. They are watching every technical detail that has to work perfectly before Bruno Mars walks in front of tens of thousands of people. And that is why the presence of Bruno Mars' staff and team at MetLife Stadium matters. For fans, an Instagram story might only last a few seconds. For the production crew, that same moment represents another step in a much larger operation. A stadium concert is essentially a temporary city. Equipment arrives. Teams move in. Production areas are established. Technical departments begin their work. Security preparations increase. And slowly, the empty venue starts transforming into the world of the artist. For the romantic tour, that transformation is particularly significant because this is not a standard arena production being placed inside a stadium. This tour was designed for a much larger scale. Bruno Mars is performing in some of the biggest venues of his career, and every location creates its own logistical challenges. MetLife Stadium is no exception. The venue has to accommodate the stage production while maintaining access for thousands of fans. Audio has to reach people across a massive seating bowl. Lighting has to remain visible even when the venue is surrounded by the natural brightness of an outdoor environment. Video screens have to provide a clear experience for fans who may be sitting far away from the main stage. And then there is the weather. Because this is a stadium show, the production team has to account for outdoor conditions. Wind, heat, rain, humidity. Every one of those factors can influence a live production. That is why preparation is so important. The closer the show gets, the more every department begins working together. And this is where the tension builds. The fans know the concert date. The staff knows how much work remains. The closer August 21st gets, the smaller the margin for error becomes. There is a point during every major tour setup when the venue stops looking like an empty stadium and starts looking like the concert everyone imagined. That transformation is what Bruno Mars fans are waiting to see. And once it happens, the anticipation will become almost impossible to ignore. Imagine the stadium hours before the doors open. Thousands of seats are empty. The merchandise areas are prepared. Security teams are positioned. The sound system has been tested. The stage is illuminated. The band and production teams are moving through final preparations. And then the first fans begin arriving. Slowly, the atmosphere changes. The parking areas become busier. The entrances become crowded. Fans begin wearing Bruno Mars merchandise. Phones come out. People start recording. Social media begins filling with videos from outside the stadium. And suddenly, what started as backstage preparation becomes a global online event. That is how modern concert culture works. A stadium show no longer exists only inside the stadium. It exists on Instagram. It exists on TikTok. It exists on YouTube. It exists on X. It exists in fan communities around the world. One short clip from inside MetLife Stadium can spread within minutes. And that is why fans are already watching the staff updates so closely. They want clues. They want confirmation. They want to know what the stage looks like. They want to know whether Bruno has changed anything. They want to know what songs will be performed. They want to know whether there will be special guests. They want to know what the opening moment will look like. But perhaps the biggest question is one that cannot be answered until the lights go down. How will Bruno Mars feel stepping back onto the US stage after the international run? That question is impossible to answer with certainty. But there is a reason it matters. A long international tour can change an artist's performance. Hundreds of thousands of people, different countries, different audiences, different stadiums, different cultures, different reactions. Every show becomes part of the experience. And by the time the artist returns home, the performance can feel more polished, more confident, and more instinctive. Bruno Mars has spent years building his reputation as one of the world's most accomplished live performers. His shows are built around musicianship, choreography, charisma, audience interaction, and an ability to turn massive venues into something that feels personal. That is difficult to accomplish, especially in a stadium. In an arena, the audience is relatively close. In a stadium, the distance can be enormous. The performer has to project energy across an entire structure. That is why stadium performances demand a different kind of presence. Bruno has to command the stage. The band has to remain synchronized. The production has to amplify the performance rather than distract from it. And the audience has to feel involved. When everything works, the stadium stops feeling like thousands of individual seats. It becomes one enormous crowd, one voice, one rhythm, one reaction. That is the experience fans are waiting for at MetLife Stadium. And the first night could be particularly emotional because it represents the return of the US leg. After the European and UK chapter, the production is coming back to the country where Bruno Mars built much of his global career. The American audience has been waiting, and now the crew is already there. That detail gives the story a sense of immediacy. This is not an announcement about something happening months from now. This is happening right now. The stadium is preparing. The tour is moving. The countdown is running. And every hour brings the opening night closer. There is also something fascinating about the role of Anderson Paak. Fans know him as one half of Silk Sonic alongside Bruno Mars. But during the romantic tour, he has also appeared as DJ P.We. That creates another layer of excitement around the show. Because when two artists with such a strong musical history are connected to the same concert environment, fans naturally start watching for moments that might go beyond the scheduled performance. But again, this is where expectations need to remain grounded. A supporting appearance does not automatically mean a Silk Sonic reunion. A backstage interaction does not automatically mean a surprise performance. And a production change does not automatically mean a new song. The excitement comes from not knowing exactly what will happen. That uncertainty is part of live music. You can know the venue. You can know the date. You can know the announced lineup. But you cannot completely predict the atmosphere once thousands of people enter the building. And that is where Bruno Mars is at his strongest. He understands how to use a crowd. He understands timing. He understands anticipation. Sometimes a pause can be more powerful than a huge production effect. Sometimes a single guitar line can trigger thousands of people to scream. Sometimes the crowd sings so loudly that the artist almost disappears beneath the audience. Those are the moments that become memories. And those are the moments fans will be looking for when the MetLife Stadium shows begin. The preparation happening now is simply the road toward those moments. But there is another important detail. The first show is only the beginning. For consecutive scheduled performances at MetLife Stadium mean the production will have to operate at an extremely high level across multiple nights. The crew cannot simply prepare once and walk away. After the first show, adjustments can be made. Technical teams can evaluate what happened. Production departments can refine transitions. Artists can respond to the audience. And then the next night begins. This creates a unique rhythm. Night 1 is the return. Night 2 is the continuation. Then the production gets a short break before returning for nights 3 and 4. That means fans attending different dates could potentially experience subtle differences in atmosphere even if the overall production remains the same. Every crowd is different. Every night has its own personality. And Bruno Mars has always been an artist capable of responding to that energy. So while the stage itself may remain consistent, the emotional experience can change. That is one of the reasons concertgoers return to see the same artist multiple times. The set list might be familiar. The production might be familiar. But the night itself is never exactly the same. And now the next night is approaching. August 21st, MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. The first U.S. performance of this next chapter. As the date gets closer, social media will likely become increasingly active. Fans will begin sharing arrival videos. Venue footage will circulate. Soundcheck rumors will spread. Merchandise photos will appear. And once the doors open, the entire atmosphere will change. The biggest moment, however, will come later. The lights go down. The crowd becomes louder. The opening production begins. And Bruno Mars finally appears. That is the payoff behind all of this preparation. Every truck, every cable, every rehearsal, every soundcheck, every lighting test, every staff update, every hour spent inside MetLife Stadium. All of it leads to one moment, the first note, the first step onto the stage, the first reaction from the audience. And when that happens, fans watching from home will finally understand why the crew arrived so early. Because the concert itself may last a few hours, but